Welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Miles, and today we're going to be going through some of the changes that are affecting the markets right now. And I'm going to be revealing my current strategy for navigating this market and how I am going to be profiting despite market volatility. I'm going to show you some of the strategies that I'm implementing, but more importantly, showing you some picks that I personally think could perform really well throughout the month of April, despite the Bitcoin price movement at the moment. It's going to be a massive show. Let's get straight into it. And this Bitcoin price has been very volatile lately. We had this massive push up from 44K and we were testing the 48K region. But obviously we have come down overnight and we saw quite a steep sell-off off the back of this European regulation news. We did push down to 44,400, but we are now trying to reclaim this 45K region. And it's a key region to reclaim as we see it is a previous level of resistance and support around the 45,300 level. So we are at a key point right now in the markets. And obviously the markets did not like this regulation news that came out. And I want to address it because I think it's going to have some big ramifications for crypto because it wasn't good at all. So the news was that the Euro Parliament passed a privacy-busting crypto rule, which regulated payments on and off exchanges from non-custodial to custodial wallets. If you want to know the difference between a non-custodial and a custodial wallet, a non-custodial wallet is like a Metamask wallet, so something that's not connected to a regulated exchange. A custodial wallet is a wallet on an exchange like Binance, which is obviously regulated. So these European lawmakers today voted in favor of these controversial laws to outlaw anonymous crypto transactions. So they want you to KYC whenever you're sending money to and from the exchange. So this is basically what these changes mean for crypto in Europe. If you're sending money from a Metamask to an exchange, the exchange now needs to verify, so KYC the Metamask wallet that those funds are coming from. And if you're sending money from an exchange to your Metamask, you also need to KYC the Metamask wallet that those funds are going to. And this also affects peer-to-peer exchanges if one of the trades happens from a crypto exchange. For example, if you have funds in Binance and you're sending funds to a friend with a MetaMask wallet, your friend will now need to KYC in Europe. So these changes obviously aren't good for crypto because what it means is that there's now an extra barrier of entry for retail participants, and it's also just not good for the essence of decentralization. I mean, the entire market thrives off the premise that decentralization is the future, and implementing changes like this work against the goal and the future goal of crypto. So it wasn't good news. However, there is a little bit of hope with this proposal. So Patrick Hansen broke down all the changes that happened. He said that the votes were 58 in favor of yes, so in favor for the changes, and 52 were in favor, out of favor for the changes, and 7 people abstained, so they didn't vote. And obviously, this is a major red flag for crypto. Patrick covered this in his thread. But the good news is that it's not official yet because they still need to approve this over the next couple months. So the econ proposal will obviously be announced sometime in April, but it still needs to be approved by the parliament. And there's multiple factors at play here. So this trilogue, so these changes usually take a couple of months, and it offers us a last chance to introduce the changes or lobby against the changes. So individual voices from the council and commission are going to really challenge these changes. And hopefully over the next few months, we can try and fight against this. But it still was a major loss. The war is not over, but we did lose a battle yesterday. So that wasn't great news. And that is the main reason behind why this Bitcoin price did dump overnight. And I said we won't let governments and regulators bully us into impetuous change. People hold the power. That's the true essence of decentralization. So I do think that we should be lobbying against this, and we all have a voice. Remember, the people have power in this industry, and we have to give power back to the people and band together and fight against these rash regulatory changes. That is my opinion on the matter. But there was also some other factors which contributed to this Bitcoin dip overnight. We obviously had a lot of liquidations. We had $397 million worth of liquidations wrecked over the past 24 hours, according to CoinGlass. So the market was getting a little bit hot. People were getting a bit overconfident, and the leverage started to creep up a little bit. And we did see this on the charts yesterday, that the leverage was creeping up into a fairly high position. But obviously now we had a bit of a cascade overnight, and a lot of people were liquidated as well. Carl did a tweet on the current Bitcoin price and said, patience is a really great skill for a trader and investor. And I also agree. We're right in the box. I would expect this region to be where the next higher low sets in. I could see us even coming to 43K quite easily. Thank you, Carl, for being bearish once again. But I won't be too greedy. I am buying again Bitcoin. So Carl's actually buying. He's a perma bear, but in this instance, he is putting in some buys. In this case, that's what he's saying. I'll get into my response, whether I think we'll be buying, whether we should be buying or selling at the end of the video. But we do need to look at a few ecosystem plays first. So let's have a look at the market to see how the markets responded, because obviously a lot of us are invested in altcoins. Altcoins are how you make serious money in crypto. So we're obviously very interested to see how they are responding against this Bitcoin price. And I will say the Bitcoin dominance has increased, but these alts are holding up okay. So it's not full capitulation or anything at 45K. I still think it is a routine pullback. When I was looking at the charts at closing in on 48K, I was thinking, okay, it might be time for a small pullback here. Nothing too crazy, but I was kind of expecting a little bit of a cooling off from the market. Obviously, the Euro news did come out in tandem with the NASDAQ dropping. So that exaggerated this downwards response. However, the alts are holding up okay. So we have Solana actually up on the day at 126. Sol has been very bullish over the past week as they introduce some changes and the narrative kind of switches from Luna back into Solana. We saw the Terra price decrease, but that's to be expected after such a massive pump across Terra. Polkadot and Avalanche did take a hit. Obviously, Doge, it's a meme coin, so that took a hit, but it has run over the last week. So we're seeing a cooling off of around 5 to 6% across many of the major alts. But there is one narrative that I've got my eye on when I look through CoinGecko right now, and that narrative is Fantom, because Fantom is actually pumping against the grain here. So we have had the Bitcoin decline in price, but Fantom is up now 7.5% for the day. So it's up 7.5%. Against a Bitcoin drop of 5%. So why are these changes happening, and why do I think these changes are bullish for the ecosystem? Let's answer that question right now, because I think there is an opportunity here in this ecosystem at the moment. And the major reason why we got this Fantom pump is this new incentives program. So the Fantom Foundation are rejigging their incentives program, and they're now introducing a $480 million grant program. So they did distribute 35 million Fantom to projects using the last incentives grant, but now they are changing the program. They're introducing a new one in tandem with Gitcoin grants, and they are setting up to strengthen funding support for a growing array of projects, big or small. So this program is very good because they're rejigging a little bit how they support projects. There's now a larger focus on gaming, games application, NFT platforms, and they're also using funds, and now they're allocating them towards projects that have community support. So in the past, in order to get these incentives, you needed to hit certain KPIs, whether it was a number of users, a number of TVL, you'd get paid out in Fantom. Now the Fantom users can decide on the allocation. So the projects that are more popular on Fantom are going to be allocated more funds. And obviously there's also an additional 35 million added to this program than the previous program. So we're seeing a little bit of a boost in the Fantom price off the back of these incentives. And I think that incentives in crypto are really massive. And that's one of the reasons why Avalanche and Near Protocol have performed so well over the past months, because Avalanche had that incentives program with its subnets. Near Protocol had a developer grant as well. And obviously Fantom, the initial pump from $1 to $2 was largely off the back of the initial program. So having this new program now coming in is bullish for the Fantom ecosystem, in my opinion. And we have seen the ecosystem rally as a result. We see Solidly up a massive 70% for the week. Scream, Spirit Swap, even T-Shares, Tomb have been performing very well as well. Taro. So the market in general for Fantom is up on the week. Obviously, it has been absolutely smashed though. So we can't get too ahead of ourselves, because it is a long way down from where it was a couple months ago. But at the same time, it's nice to see some volume kicking in. But there's one interesting narrative amongst all these projects that I'm identifying, and it's something that I've got my eye on right now. Now, this is very risky, but at the same time, I think there may be a play here. So I'm going to explain my logic behind why I think there's a play in this particular project and explain what is kind of evolving. So obviously after Andre left, we know Solidly was one of Andre's best projects, and it was the new project that he was launching on Fantom. He left Fantom and he wanted to take a break from crypto as well. And we saw the Solidly TVL decrease from 2.5 billion back down to a couple hundred million. So off the back of Andre leaving, we saw a lot of panic A lot of people were leaving the Solidly ecosystem because there was a lot of panic over the future of Solidly. Is it dead? I mean, if we look at the charts, it looked very, very dead, right? However, could we be seeing a revival here? Because the Solidly price is up from $1 and it almost doubled it more than doubled to 237 overnight. So we have seen a massive increase in the Solidly price. But why are these changes happening? And could this be the revival of Solidly? Well, I'll answer that right now, because what happened was Solidly was overtaken by Solidex. And what Solidex is doing is they're implementing a range of changes to Solidly. This is UI and performance upgrades. And their team is essentially taking over the operations. So it is still running. And the tech, which in my opinion was very strong tech, is still live, and it still has potential to have a big impact on the Fantom ecosystem, in my opinion. And the reason I'm saying this, because if you remember a week ago, I was saying it looked a bit dead. The reason I have a little more hope for this now is because of this new Solidly and Deuce Forex announcement. So what they're doing is they're kickstarting $30 billion of trading volume. We know Solidly is a DEX. So they're injecting this volume in with a new $3 million liquidity bootstrapping program. So Deuce, which is one of the most hyped and one of the most successful projects right now in the Fantom ecosystem. I know it's cross-chain, but a lot of Fantom users seem to like the protocol. They're actually partnering now with Solidly, and they're saying, we still think this technology has potential, so let's maybe get involved and start incentivizing some liquidity here. So they are bootstrapping liquidity with $3 million, and $30 billion of trading volume will be generated in the next 30 days. If you want to check out the article, it's very interesting because it goes over this partnership, and I think this could be enough to potentially revive the Solidly narrative, at least temporarily, because we did see obviously a massive decline in the price, but I'm quietly confident that Solidly could have a revival here. Like, it is very risky, so I wouldn't be aping in. But maybe a small position could be worth a punt, just because it has been beaten down a lot. The narrative's been against it for the past couple months. Potentially, just potentially, this partnership could kickstart something new on Solidly. I just want to put it out there as something to keep your eye on in the Fantom ecosystem. But what am I doing to play this market at the moment? Because obviously the Bitcoin price has had quite a decline, and we have seen quite a large pump over the last week. So it's been hard to gauge whether we should be buying or selling. I did my best to answer that question in yesterday's video, but I want to show you guys exactly what I'm doing in this market right now, because I'm sure you guys are interested how I'm personally playing it. So I want to show you guys what I'm getting involved in to trade at the moment. So the first thing I want to say is I haven't sold my spot positions, but I've got my close eye on the market. As Kyle said, a pullback to 43K could be in play. So I do have my eye on potentially buying the dip around that level, because I think that this EU news could potentially be oversold. Now, I'm not saying it is yet. I am expecting a turbulent next couple of weeks as the market prices in some of these factors, but there is a lot of bullish catalysts at the same time. There's a lot to be bullish about against some of these macro factors as well. So I do think there could be some potential upside here. So I am looking at the 43K level as a potential dip buying level, but I've also got my eye in a couple other ecosystems. If you guys remember the show yesterday, I did say that my strategy is to accumulate through staking whenever the market is bearish. So when the market is bearish, you want to act bullish in terms of your accumulation, because that enables you to accumulate tokens at lower levels. Look at the bull case here. So this is basically what I do with my rewards when the market is low. Now you see a bull in the top left corner. This is my strategy that I use when I want to act bullish. Now it sounds counterintuitive, but I implement this bullish strategy when the market is bearish. So when we do get big declines in the crypto market, including the Bitcoin price like we are at the moment, that is when I alter my staking strategies to become more bullish, because I believe that when there's fear in the market, that's when we should be accumulating tokens. So this is the strategy I'm doing at the moment. I'm taking my LPs, whether that be my Fantom pairs on Beats, whether that be my Liquid Driver, whether that be my AVAX or Joe liquidity pools. I'm taking those LPs and I'm converting those rewards back into the base tokens. So when the market is bearish, you want to act bullish by recompounding your rewards back into these tokens to be able to earn some yield. So I recommend implementing a strategy like that when the market is low, because that is how you're going to accumulate at lower levels. But I'm not aping in with fresh cash just yet, but I am implementing that at the moment. There is something that I'm aping into, and this is very risky, guys. So if you're not a degen, You may want to click off the video right now, but if you are a degen, you may like this play that I'm doing at the moment. So it is very risky, but this is an NFT project I have my eye on. You guys know that I always want to show you guys what I'm personally investing in. I want to be transparent with you guys and show you what I'm interested in this market at the moment. So if I'm interested in a project, I want to share it with you. And I want to be able to be transparent with my trades. So I am going to reveal what I've been doing at the moment, and it's a little bit degenish, but there is a play that I like, and I can't lie, I'm very bullish on it at the moment. And this is this Imposters project. So it's ElioTrades project. He's been working on it for a long time. And I just want to run you guys through a few reasons why I think this could be a future NFT blue chip. Now, I usually don't cover NFTs. I know this is more of a DeFi show, but I am seeing a long-term opportunity here. So I just want to go through a few of the reasons why I'm bullish on this ecosystem and how I'm trading it at the moment. So we see the floor price is very high. So I know it's not necessarily attainable for everyone, but if you do have the means to get your hands on one of these NFTs, I think it could potentially have scope for growth much, much higher than 2 ETH. And I'll show you guys why. So the first thing I want to say is that Elio is very invested in this project. He spent a lot of his reputation, time, and energy building this project. So I know he's very invested, and I do trust Elio. I think he's one of the better creators out there, and I do back his vision in the gaming market. So I think he has a very good read on the gaming and NFT space, and I think that in tandem with his connections in the space, that they can make this a successful project. So it has a floor price of 2.1. It minted at 1 Ethereum. However, if we compare this to some other projects on OpenSea, there's a lot of projects that are doing a lot less and are charging a lot more. So the kind of game that we're looking at here, I think, has potential scope up to 10 plus Ethereum. I'm being completely honest. I know it's very, very risky, so you have to be aware of the risks, but I think we do have scope here. So I'm looking at picking up some of these NFTs. And this is the reason why, and this is a really smart factor of the NFTs that I think could have a positive effect on this market. So basically, if you hold one of these NFTs, you can stake that NFT and earn blood tokens. So they're coming out with a game. It's kind of like Among Us. It's a game that is very addictive, looks very playable, and looks very approachable for the casual gamer. But in order to earn the native token of the game, which is blood, you need to have these NFTs staked. So if you stake an NFT, you can earn blood tokens. Now, in order to mint a UFO, you need to spend blood tokens. So to get a UFO, you need to have been staking your NFTs. But to get a pet, you also need to have been staking your NFTs. So over many, many weeks, they're going to roll out these new NFTs and these new rewards to existing holders. By week 8, there's going to be materials that you can use to upgrade your pets and upgrade your UFOs. And then week 10, there's going to be a cosmetic chest to upgrade your cosmetic looks. So it's basically this season, and all these staking rewards stack on top of each other. Because if you're staking this NFT, then what that means is that you're earning blood tokens to mint UFOs, to mint pets, to upgrade and train your pets. And then by the end of this entire cycle, which I think is 12 weeks, by the end of the first Genesis season, you will be able to mint land. So the only way in this ecosystem to get hold of this land in Elio's project is to have staked your NFT and earned these blood tokens and participated in all these events. So here's my hypothesis. I think that by the end of this season, there'll be a lot of demand for this land because I do back Elio and the project succeeding. Obviously, the game needs to be played in order for this mechanism to succeed. But if the game is played and it gets some hype around it, like I think it can, then this land could be quite valuable because a lot of people will be aping into these NFTs, aping into the pets, aping into the UFOs because they want access to this land. And I like to think as investing in a Genesis NFT, in Imposters, as investing in Elio and investing in the gaming ecosystem he's building. Obviously, we saw Neo Tokyo be a huge success. There's no reason to me why this can't be as well. I know he spent a lot of time and energy on it, so I am banking on Elio. And I'm also banking on FaZe Banks because FaZe Banks obviously has a lot of sway in the gaming community. He's obviously very big on Twitch and he has connections to all the influencers and all the Twitch streamers. And he actually joined Imposters and as an advisor. So what this means is he'll be advising the project and helping them grow strategically. He actually said in a Discord that he's all in on Imposters. So that means that he's very bullish on the ecosystem and he's going to try and push this out to Twitch streamers. So imagine if this game is in the lap of every single Twitch streamer all over the world as this game launches. There could be a lot of hype coming in from retail to play this game. And we know when retail gets involved in crypto, things like NFTs just tend to explode. So this is my hypothesis. I think Elio and Phase together can make a really successful project here. And I also think that the $26 million that they raised gives them massive scope to actually build this game. They have a lot of funds to work with to develop this project. They're also getting 5% of sales from all these NFTs, which they're then reinvesting back into the treasury to be able to invest in game development. And they're not making money off this. I think Elio said he's barely profiting off the project. They're just reinvesting rewards back in. So how would I play this? Obviously, it's very expensive. So I know that for a lot of you, this may not necessarily be achievable. I think 2 ETH comes out at around $7,000. So I know it's a lot, and I wouldn't be spending my entire portfolio on one NFT because it's very risky. So I probably wouldn't allocate more than 10% of my portfolio to something like this. And that's being conservative as well. But if you do have the means to get involved, I think it could be quite a nice play. Remember, the reveal is in 5 days. So these NFTs will be revealing in 5 days' time, which means that there could be a flood of supply onto the market, because a lot of the time with these projects, people will kind of panic if they get a common and they'll flood it onto the market. So we could see the price drop. However, there's also a chance in the meantime, between now and the reveal, that there's more hype coming in for the project and the price may potentially pump in the meantime. So we could see a scenario where this floor price goes from 2 ETH to 3 ETH, and then by the reveal, it drops back down to 2, but we're in the same position that we are now. So my recommendation is probably to wait for the reveal before you scoop one up. But if you're an absolute degen and you absolutely want to ape, then now might not be a terrible time. But I would recommend holding this for the long term. This isn't a quick flip. This isn't something I'd be buying to flip next week. This is something that I would invest in if I believe in Elio's vision. And this is something I would invest in if you want to hold this long term. I think 6 to 12 months, this project can be a very, very successful NFT project. But remember, it's extremely degen-ish. I told you guys, this was a Degen idea. So I wanted to just share this with you guys because I always want to share what I'm doing in this market. And I'm not going to lie, that is something I'm buying right now. So I'm just sharing, just putting out there. I'm buying Imposters. You do what you want, not financial advice, but I do like the ecosystem. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's a turbulent market at the moment, but I think that there is potential upside still over the next few months because there is a lot of bullish catalysts. And although these EU regulations aren't great, I feel like if we can rally together, we can stop them. And they aren't final yet. The parliament still needs to approve them. But I also do respect that it is potentially a bearish factor as well, and that the market could come down and obviously test those 42 to 43K levels. So I'm not buying tokens like a madman now, but I am DCAing a little bit, just a tiny, tiny, tiny bit, and picking up some of these NFTs so I can accumulate some damn Ethereum. Thank you guys for watching this video. I will see you in the next one. Peace out. Kieran said they have 10 NFTs. You guys are aping in. Wow. People are aping.